Today in Canada, the average net worth of a person who is under 35 is around $48,000 to $49,000. But the real concerning number is that 30% of millennials are living the life with zero emergency fund. And on top of that, non-mortgage related debts are all-time high. I will be revealing my net worth at the age of 30 for a person living in Canada from the last 3 years. But the real question is that what should be our ideal net worth according to our age? Are we really falling behind than others? Why I'm sharing my net worth at the age of 34? Why I'm sharing now? The real answer is that I have been on the both side of the statistics. I was a person with the worst car loan and was almost financially broke down. At the same time today, I am the person who is living with a very solid and robust system. Well, the small disclaimer is that I am not a millionaire. Whatever I have accumulated in my bank account is not something that I have got into the inheritance. In fact, with just $500. Even I had to borrow it from my father, and whatever I have accumulated so far is just by the grace of God. If I talk about my little bit, I have been living in Canada from the last 3 years. I live in the Ontario province where the most of the Canadian lives. It is the moderately expensive to live in. I have been working as an engineer from the last 3 years in the same company, and this is my 4th year going on. I have been trying to work on the second source of income because one is always no good. Let me clarify one thing before we start this video. Whatever number I will be showing in this video, it is just for the encouragement and the information purpose. I am not here to flex these numbers. And in fact, my wealth is not that much that I should be flexing it. I just felt like since I have been making finance related videos, it is my moral responsibility to share my numbers with my audience so that it can build a good amount of trust in between of us. So let's start this video. Since I was a professor, I always like to define something in my own words. Ask me what is net worth, I will say that let's say all income sources stop today, and whatever you are left with in your bank account, saving account, investment accounts, whatever you say, whatever amount of the cash you will be left with, that is your net worth. Now, if we consider the same explanation, would you consider having a 5-bedroom house worth of $1 million, but at the same time you are paying mortgage on that? Would you consider this as your wealth? The answer would be unfortunately no. Although there are 5 bedrooms, you are not gonna eat bedrooms as your food. Neither your bedroom will give you food from its roof. Similarly, your income is not your wealth too. Income definitely helps you to build some wealth, but your income cannot be considered as a wealth. Let's assume that you are earning $5,000 every month as your net salary. But what if you have a $10,000 debt on your car? In fact, your net worth is in the negative. You are in debt. This is how I evaluate my own wealth. Whatever I have today, and if I can sell profitably into the market, whatever remains in my bank account, that is worth. Now let's talk about some numbers. The first thing in asset is always about cash and the emergency fund. If I talk about myself, I have kept around $48,000 of emergency fund in my bank account. For those who are new, emergency fund is something for you that you will never use, but you never know when are you going to be using it. And I really wish that you never need to use it. This money is for the unfortunate events in your life, like you lost the job, your car broke down, or some emergency medical expenses came. You never know what might be happening in the life. Now you might be thinking that since I have the emergency fund of 48,000, you should be having the same. The answer is no. This number differs from people to people. You should know your needs amount for a month. This emergency fund for me is for 1 year. That means you can say that my monthly needed amount is around $4,000. And how did I get this number? Well, I write down all of my expenses. I know how much I need to spend for my survival. This does not include going on a vacation every year. This does not include buying clothes every month or going on a coffee date with your friends. This number has just come from the money that you need for your survival. Now here is a small tip for you. I see a lot of people have been asking where to put the emergency fund. And the answer is that you should put your emergency fund at such place from where you can liquidate it immediately because you need it in the emergency situations. If you put it into the stock market, let's say if some emergency arrives and the stock market is down, you will be at the big loss. You should never do those kind of mistakes. And at the same time, you do not want to put your emergency fund in some current or saving accounts where it just generates 0.25 to 0.5% interest rates. If I talk about myself, I have kept a partial of my emergency fund around $30,000 in the high interest saving account with EQ Bank in Canada. And this $30,000 gives me almost $70 absolutely free every month. Now, any money that comes in the excessive of $48,000 from my day-to-day job, that directly goes to the investment account right away. Because I do not need to save much. I already have the emergency fund for a year. Now let's talk about the most interesting part of this video, investments. When India, my budgeting was so messed up that I could hardly invest anything. I had a worse car loan that now I regret that I should not have bought that car at that time. I had some worse lifetime policies that ruined all budgeting. But I investing very rigorously in March 2024. Yes, from almost last 2 years, I have been investing very consistently. If I invest on a daily basis. But I started investing after I accumulated my emergency fund, and I took 1 year for that. Okay, so well on the screen, you can see my investment portfolio that is mainly in India. Now, let me tell you that I have been holding these stocks in my portfolio from more than around 9 or 10 years. So don't get by the amount of the returns. But overall, I around 154,545 Indian rupees. That's an interesting number though. And its current value is around 260,000 Indian rupees. Overall, it has given around 72.93% of the return. And with that, I'm absolutely happy with that. By the grace of God, I have been lucky that it is not in the loss. But at the same time, if you see that at the bottom down, some of the stocks are almost 50% of down. But invested much in that because, as I said earlier, it was just part of an experiment. As you can see on the screen, my second investment in India is all about the investments in mutual funds and some gold ETF. Again, these are all just for the informational purpose. I do not recommend you to invest in the same assets. You should do your own research before buying anything that you see on the screen. At the same time, I have invested around 728,000 Indian rupees and its current value is around 770. So overall, it's only of return, but let me tell you that I have started investing in these assets from the last 2 years, as I said earlier. So the growth is almost okay. It's not great, but since I have been investing for a very large term, I'm not worried about the performance. Okay, now let's see the investments in Canada. Like my majority of the investment is in Canada. 80% of my net income goes to Canada and 20% is in India. But let's see how much I have invested in TFSA. Mainly, I use this account to buy some ETFs and mainly stocks. Let's see the summary. So I have invested around $6,705 and its total value, where is the total value? Yes, the total value is around $8,520. So overall, if you see in the percentages, I'm always up by 27.06. That is absolutely very great numbers. As I said, this account I have been holding from the last 2 years. In RRSP, I have invested around $31,581. It is almost up by 12.91 percentages. That is not bad. Within 2 years, the return is around almost 13 percentages. And on the top of that, I have been investing daily, as I said earlier. So that means even the investment that I have done yesterday has been appraised by 12.91 percentages. So this is a cumulative. There is a total profit of $4,000. Its total value is around $35 and $658. In my first house saving account, that helps me to reduce my total amount of tax that I pay to the government, similar as RRSP, as you know. So in first house saving account, I have invested around $16,983. Its total value today is around $18,372, and the investment has been up by 8 percentages. I am also not happy, not sad with this investment, but I know it is for the longer term. And since it not has been more years ever since I have invested, and recently we all know that what happened to the stock market because of the tariff implementation by Trump all across the world. So absolutely, this is a good numbers here we can see. Now, these are all the numbers that has been invested by myself in the last duration of mainly 3 years. But on top of this, I also have some investment account that has been given as a part of some profit sharing or as a part of the employment benefit. That number, if I summarize, is around $10,000. So if you calculate all, my total investment so far is around $91,113. This number also includes all the investment in India, and I have tried to convert those numbers into the Canadian dollars. If I summarize this, whatever cash I have with, the total net worth will be around $113. It's a large sum of money, and I am absolutely happy with that. And this is all just by the grace of God. I can repeat this 100 times. Again, I'm not here to flex any number, but To my surprise, I never thought that I could have achieved this much in the span of last 3 years, mainly because all of my initial investment was in stock market in India itself, and like it was not that much. So I'm absolutely happy with that. Now the most significant part of net is the liability. And here most people makes mistake. They do not include liabilities in the net worth. And if I try to define liability in simple words, it is something that takes money out from your pocket. And I can say that virtually I have zero liability. I have no bad loans, I have no car loans, no house loan, and I'm absolutely thankful God for this. Definitely I have a car with me right now that I have paid it fully in cash. In Canada, we all need a car for our day to go on a job or do stuff in the winter. Now the how all of this got changed in of time. I was almost financially broke down when I was in India to now, well, I have a very well defined system that allows me to invest almost every day. For this, I would like to give shout out to two people that has played a very crucial role in my financial journey. The first one is Ankur Wariko and the second one is Mr. Pranjal Kamra. I am sure you all would have heard about these people. These both personality are the content creator, especially in the field of finance. And when I was on a career break from 2019 to 2022, I had loaded myself with all the videos these people have made so far, and it enhanced my financial knowledge from zero to whatever I have today. The only thing I was missing is my job. And as soon as I landed in Canada, I applied all those principles that I learned from these two people's videos. And just because of this, I had a very simple system that allowed me to accumulate whatever wealth I have in my bank account today. Today I'm 34-year-old. And as I told you earlier, I started investing very rigorously exactly around 2 years ago. But if I can go back in my life, let's say when I was 25 years old, I can say now today is that I had committed some worse fundamental financial mistakes. Although I was earning good chunk of money at that time, I had no idea where did my money go. I had some worse financial decisions that I just did it because somebody else told me to do so. If I'm 25-year-old and I just have started earning today, I would build my emergency fund for at least 3 to 6 months for now. I would do budgeting. I would write down each and every single expenses that is going out or that is coming in my pocket. This will give you a good trend of my spendings. I would allocate 50% of my money for my needs. I would invest at least 20% of my money at the so that when, let's say if I'm 34 now, I could have a good chunk of money. I could have more net worth than right now I have whatever I have. And at the same time, I would enjoy my life too. I would allocate 30% of my income for my fun, because in the younger age, we all need fun. I wanted to go on a vacation. I wanted to have a good affordable car. I wanted to have good clothes every month. And let's say if I followed this exact budgeting tool at that time, after earning for 4 years at the rate of 400,000 Indian rupees every year, I still would have more than 288,000 Indian rupees in my bank account on top of whatever I have today. If I'm 25-year-old today, I would follow this advice without any doubt. So in the end, the real reason why I'm sharing this number with you is not to show you what I have built, because you already saw that I am still building my wealth. But the real reason why I'm sharing this number with you guys is that even if you are in 30s, even if you have committed some big financial blunders, if you follow a robust and simple system, you still can have a higher chances of getting successful in terms of building your financial net wealth. Financial freedom is not about the size of your paycheck, but it is all about the system that you are following. I really thank you for being a part of my journey. And if you really think that I have encouraged you to start your investing journey, you can really appreciate it by subscribing to this channel. It would really matter to us a lot. If you have questions related to your personal finance and you think that if I in a proper way, you are very much welcome to comment into the comment box. I will try my best to reach out to you in the most possible way. Until we see you in the next time, take care and bye.